kind of things are you trying to learn from me? Because I've never
Exactly.
done an
Yep.
interview. I've never done an interview like this before.
Hmm.
I guess I don't realize I do some things the way I do, and then people take notice, and I try to like humble myself about it. But like at this point in my life, like an opportunity like this with you, I feel like it's just something like, oh wow, maybe I should like be more active and try to do something, because I'm glad you're taking interest in whatever I'm doing. Just let me know, like, I guess, what kind of questions you want me to answer, or just,
Yeah.
straight
Yeah.
to the
Like
conversation.
similar to the questions I sent over about like attitude or
Yeah,
learning or
yeah.
growth. Is there something that you do like each day, almost like a keystone habit of, I need to do this each day to
Oh,
maybe
yeah, dude.
declutter my mind or be composed. Um,
I think for me, like another thing is stretching, or like getting my body kind of like in this mode. It's pretty much to slow me down because I think I acknowledge how my brain works, like if I were to focus. Um, but my regiments on the daily is just like get my body at a right tempo, so that way I'm thinking clearly. That's really the key thing for me, like being able to think clearly, make every move properly, whether it be on my poshmark with my music. Like I'm very detailed oriented, so I can like, I don't know. I guess my goal is just to is just to keep my, like I said, my body at a certain tempo. I don't know if this makes sense. It's like yoga in a way. That's definitely a regimen that I'm implementing on the daily. And just the time to relax. I just try to be relaxed all the time, honestly. Like I try not to make work feel like work. I think that's one thing that I'm kind of rewiring in myself, because up to a certain point, I had this mentality of like, all right, because it was instilled from my parents. Just you got to go to school and then you got to go to work, and then like once you're an adult and you're in the working atmosphere, you're kind of like switch. So I think like I don't want to work like that, or I don't want to put myself in a situation like that. And fortunately, I'm lucky to have my dad's business, like, you know, I guess kind of cater to my other goals. But it definitely is overwhelming, and I feel like when I, you know, when I get in that weird space, I just need to unwind. So definitely decluttering my mind, definitely slowing down, yoga, breathing. Like there's like yesterday, I just laid on the floor, like flat, and I just laid still, and I relaxed all my muscles, did a few breaths. Um, then I was able to make some music. You know what I mean? Like hop into the next thing, and like the thing with me is I have different things that I'm trying to do at the same time. I think um, I can do it. I know I can,
hmm
because as long as my mind is right, it's just trying to balance it. Like I realize time is stressful. You know what I mean? Working, you don't have enough time as you used to.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Yeah, for me,
I
it's
don't
like,
know. I'm just going on rambles, dude.
no, for
I
me,
appreciate
I'll
you
throw my
listening. I
two
never
cents
like
in.
got into it.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah,
it's
for
like
sure, dude. Make
my
it a conversation.
my keystone habit is like gratitude. So for the last 2 years,
Hmm.
before I even work, I'm not thinking, all right, I got to work today. I know somewhere in my head, I'm like, all right, I do have to work today. But first, it's gratitude. It's
Yeah.
like before I even get into it, it's like, what are 5 things that I liked about the day before? And so I've been doing this over the last two
Okay.
years, and just having this,
Nice.
I put it on OneNote, and just having this thing visual to me, I'm able to go back 2 years from now and say, maybe things were harder 2 years ago, or maybe things were harder a year ago, but I was still able to find 5 things.
Yes.
And then I'm seeing over time, and it might be that growth mentality over time where you appreciate, your attitude, your learning. And now I'm like, wow, like there was a lot more than 5 things that I was thankful for compared to last year, just from today. Like
Yeah.
I feel like days now are um, very long in a good way. Like I was a good quote, like each day brings an eternity with it. So, who knows how the course of an entire day can go. The things that kind of catch me off guard are some of the coolest things. The things I don't plan for, those things are really cool. And I guess any other tips and tricks that I use to maintain my attitude is like meditating. I read, and I think it sounds like some piece that you're talking about where you just need to you know, stay still. You're saying you're lying on your back still. Like I've read that our brain has like a focus mode of thinking when we're really into it, and we have like a diffuse mode where we're not really focused on a particular um, thing, like whether we're walking or laying down. For me, it's like listening to
Yeah,
music. That's where I could really just like zone out or tune out for a little bit, and
yeah,
then or even sleeping. I wake up after sleeping. It's like I find I have new ideas, and that kind
yeah,
of it's kind of like it builds on itself in a good way. Some of those routines, for me at least.
yeah. Sounds like now they're just habits at this point.
Yeah, yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like slowing down is like the common thing, or like having yourself just kind of like be more present because there's like a lot going on, especially with like phones. These things cause depression, bro. I'm telling you, I can see it happening with like my cousins. Like my cousins are like 13, and I'm just like, dude, why are you like that? I mean, why are you thinking so deep into life? And I get worried because yes, they are powerful. Like you can learn a lot. Like my cousins are smart, but my cousins are also more sad than I was back in the day, where like you know what I mean, like their problems are like how can I solve like world hunger? I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Like calm down. Like the thing is, like yes, they have big goals, which like I admire, but I feel like they get so overwhelmed with a lot of things that they're still processing it. You know what I mean? And I feel like they don't know how to properly process things and how to react to them because that's like a skill that like I learned over time. You know what I mean? Like reacting to things and like knowing how to properly react. And then like I talked to my cousin, like not to throw her under the bus, but it's just I'm just like, wow, you you really have like this on your mind now? Like it's Friday, like you're not gonna go to the mall or like but again, it's interesting because I'm having adult conversations with, you know, children. So there are definitely positives and negatives, but I guess I saw like you mentioned you wanted to like hone in on like how like positivity and like depression are kind of like linked and like how you can use one to resolve the other. Um, it's definitely like learning how to react and how to listen. Um, for me, like I always try to have empathy and I don't judge anyone off of any like whether it be the color of your skin. I like to listen. Like I look at someone as a blank canvas and I'll pick their brain and I'll ask certain questions that and I try to get intimate really fast. You know what I mean? I try to
Hmm.
be their friend. And it's just I try to create it in a sense of like I want to create like a conversation around honesty and around like I don't know, people try to like look good in front of each other sometimes for no reason. It's just like be yourself. And I feel like if you ask the right questions, um, you can definitely get into good conversations. You can create relationships to like, you know, yes, be on a podcast and like talk about this kind of stuff and like find people of common interest. Like a deep conversation is probably what triggered like, I don't know, I guess hopefully your interest in me. And I feel like that's something that again, I think I tried to tell you before, like at my party, it was like just I don't want to waste time. I don't like the fluff conversation. It's just once you get deep, I don't know, people open up and I try to be deep but positively deep and like I'll be like, oh like I like to listen. I love listening. I studied journalism, so like stories of people just like you, it's like so interesting to me and like I use their knowledge I don't have, apply it to myself as best as I can, whether it be like tips, like I don't know, just like a simple conversation. Oh, dude, there's this game that you know I played. It's like a card game.
Hmm.
Pretty much, it's just a deck of cards where on these cards are really deep questions. So my friend at a party, we were at like some party, everyone's drinking and everything. He's like, dude, I got into a conversation, just like a really deep one.
Very
And he
cool.
was just like, I was just like, man, like, I appreciate your positive attitude. Like, how do you stay positive? What are your tricks? Like, how do we get into conversations like this? How did you even get me to talk about like, my family life and stuff? Like, that's not really a conversation people get into, but he was able to bring it out of me. And he did it in such a natural way and such an honest way. I'm like, how did you do this? So he brought out this game. It's called the And. I'll send you the link and then you can put it like wherever. Um,
Cool.
it's just a card game where it's a deck of cards, asks you a deep question, and you just talk about it with whoever you're playing with, right? So, like one of the questions, so I had the game. I gave it to my cousin because this is a tip that I told her as I'm telling you. I'm just like, play this with your friends. I feel like it's a great icebreaker. It's a great way to get into conversation. Like even for your podcast, like maybe if you have it, you could just talk about like things like, I don't know, it'll help you play. Like, once you play, it'll help you get into a conversation where it's like, oh wow, how did I start talking about like, I don't know, my first kiss or like it's something super personal. And I was just but back to my friend and like how he was, how we were playing. Um, yeah, he triggered this thing and we started conversations. I bought the game. I played with my friends. I got them to cry off playing this game. You know what I mean? It's like really,
Mm.
really deep game.
Compared
What
to a
was
lot
your,
compared to a
what
lot
was
of
your,
games that could be,
yeah,
just regular drinking games. Like, you know, I like throwing some balls once in a while, you know what I mean? Like I like that stuff, but
yeah, dude.
like what really resonates is the stuff for me that you can't see. It's like the emotions that you feel during a conversation or during the course of a day. Those are the things that for me resonate the most. So it's like I could definitely see myself using that with my friend group to
Yeah.
to try to get to know them a little bit better, and for me to say here's where I'm coming from too.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it would be a great like it was for me. It was definitely a great, I guess, trick on not trick, but just like it helped me know what kind of questions to ask people to get into that, rhythm of honesty and like I don't know, putting your pride to the side, listen, just being able to listen. I don't know, man. Just it's a really good game. It's a
Yeah,
really good
definitely send
game.
me that link.
Oh,
And
for sure, I will.
like the screen time you're saying, I think that's definitely something that I've seen, and I could see the positives and the negatives of it. Like I try to manage my screen time pretty rigid. Like a
Yeah,
few years ago it was like, and it depends. Like I'm not judging people who need to use it when they need to use it, especially
yeah,
like influencers and stuff like that.
yeah.
But I was taking like a class, and I was like, I was at I was working, so I was taking a few classes and working, and I'm like, where's all my
Hmm.
time going? I'm like, oh, well, a lot of it's going into fantasy football. So
Oh,
I cut that out like a year. Well, this year I didn't play really, and then the year before not too much.
yeah,
Um, I did delete a lot of social media for some, maybe a year and a half. Wouldn't really check it too much now.
yeah,
Now I'm kind of like more clear on the use of the tool, like what it can be used for, which is why, I'm starting to come out there more, promote this idea, promote positivity. Um, I think that's why I want to use it more. But I can see like,
yeah,
how you can just kind of get lost in the webs of the internet, and it could be sad, and you could kind of lose that human interaction if if
yeah,
uh if someone doesn't pull you out of it.
yeah, yeah. I feel like yeah, with the social media thing, trying to hone in with what you said, like limiting that. Like I deleted Facebook off my phone. Like I'd set rules. Like I'd only check it on my laptop or because it is a good tool to like, I guess, keep in touch, if you use properly. But like you said, getting lost in the sauce, that's that's where it gets really addicting. Like my mom, I don't know, our parents' generation is like, I don't know about you, but my mom, like she loves Instagram, Facebook Live.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going live. I'm like, why? We're like, and she's like, check it, check it. I don't know. It's just so interesting also to see how it affects like the older generation, how they use it, and like how we use it differently. And it's a it's a blessing and a curse, dude. I'm telling you. It's like trying to find the right medium of how to use it. Is it's beneficial to your life, but it's also not a waste of your waste of your time.
The art of social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as kind of this year wraps up, like what are you looking forward to as the next year starts?
Yeah, man. Honestly, wait till until this virus is done.
Yep.
Like that, all in itself. Like, oh, if you want, my sister is a nurse, so maybe if you pick her brain, like she has like some crazy COVID stuff, and like if she can, how she can overcome it too, like how she's come overcome it, dude. She's an ICU nurse, and she was telling me like this thing. She kind of like scared like my family to the point where just like, dude, it's more serious than you think. Like, don't like take it lightly. Um, but yeah, COVID. I can't wait until that's done. That's just limiting. It's limiting a little bit, but I'm looking at it as like a blessing in disguise, where I can like use this time to focus on more more personal projects, like things of I don't know things that I can do at this time. Um, but that's definitely number one where what I'm looking forward to. Um, I guess traveling if that's in the near future. Like I did a road trip, so that this is a cool thing that we did. Like COVID, although it happened, um, it also brought like my cousins who are still in school to be able to work from home, go to school from home. So we saw this as an opportunity where we all were able to come together. We haven't been together since my sister's sweet 16, and my sister's 24 now. So that was this year brought us all together because our timelines like kind of all lined up, and we can all like be free. You know what I mean? Either even though you're in school, even though I'm at work, like those working, we can take off, and then my cousins can
You're
go
like
to
a few
school.
years
Like
younger than you?
yeah, like I'm the oldest on my mom's side, so I'm one of the few working right now because I'm ahead of them a little. But my siblings, like my brother, for example, he's still in school, and he went to school online, and he's still doing it online. So we saw this as an opportunity, even though there is a virus going on. Like we're not gonna fly, but what we did was we road tripped down to Florida. We were just like, dude, let's just go. Let's just rent a car and
Definitely.
like and go. Because we all could. Like we have hotspots on our phones. Like we can make work. I took off work. Um, my siblings were working. My sister took off work. My brother, he was able to go to school because of his hotspot. Like in the car, he's doing his class. You know what I mean? People are on like Zoom calls.
That's
But it
awesome.
was cool because like we were all able to do our own thing, but be together and like make the best of like what is given to us. And I think that was like really what made the trip fun, because even though I don't know, my family's my family, like we're very like I guess like crazy, like we can be crazy, or like I don't know.
I was telling Ryan, I was looking at your some of your Instagram videos where you're scaring your
Yeah,
dad.
yeah. Like we're very close
Close.
family,
Yep.
we're very close. So their influence is definitely like that's one topic I could just talk about all day, like how that has affected, I guess, how I view life. Um, but but back to what I was saying, just the COVID and like the road trip, that was it. That was a really cool one. And I look forward to more of those in the future. And I didn't even know that was possible. You know what I mean? Like my cousins and I are already like, oh, where are we going next? Like we gotta wait. We're not gonna fly. We just drive, rent a car. We're not gonna get in contact. We'll just go places that we can go, like outside. Like we did a lot of outdoor activity during this trip. We went to Florida. We went around the beaches, places that weren't crowded. It was like, wow, even with all this going on, like we still can have fun, and like we just have to tweak what our fun is. Like it's not going out to the bars. It's not going out to like at midnight to go to like the clubs. That was fun, but now it's like this is a time where we all were like, okay, what else can we do? Road trips, be outside, like what are available to us, and like make the best of it. We're playing frisbee, or just like we're doing like outdoor activity, went for runs and like biking. Very, I don't know, just whatever is given to us, we make the best of it. And I think that's one trick, another tip that maybe I can like, I guess, give my 2 cents on, because that's how I go about things. Like no matter the, no matter the situation, if I'm alive, like there's so like I'm very fortunate just to be alive. Like after traveling has given me perspective. I've Whenever I travel anywhere, I try to like talk to people from the country. Um, like for example, I went to Bali, Indonesia, where I met this guy, and this story is like one story that like I really like. I look at my whole life, and this is one that sticks out, and I'm just like, wow, like I looked at my life a certain way this whole time, and then like this little incident just triggered me to like change how I think about, you know, who I talk to, what I'm talking about, and like pretty much it was this guy. He's like one of those concierge guys where you go to your hotel, they ring you the taxi, and that's what they do all day. I was talking to this dude, and I had a Polaroid camera around my neck. And to me, like, and to like people from the US, like a Polaroid is considered like an old camera, right? It's dated. It's like, people everywhere have seen it, and it's like vintage, right?
Yep.
I'm in Indonesia, dude. I kid you not. This guy, he was like, "Hey, what's that around your neck?" I'm like, "Oh, this is a camera. Uh, it's called a Polaroid. Pretty much, you load the film, and like, film comes out." And he was like, "I don't know, like, what you mean? Like, what does that mean?" And I was like, "Wow, like, this guy, like, is looking at this as like something brand new." And I was like, "Oh my God, let me show you. Like, come here." Like, I asked him. He rode to work like on a scooter, and that all in itself was like, wow, like this is how he rides to work. And like we got into a good conversation. We were talking about family, and I was like, "Oh, are you married? Do you have any kids?" And he was just telling me about his his daughter and like his wife. And he's like, "Yeah, I drive around with my daughter and my wife on my scooter sometimes. Like that's how I, drop her to school. And like there's three of them on a scooter. Like that's their car. You know what I mean? Like that's an equivalent to a car to us in the U.S. Like that's how families get around here. But to, like over there, he was riding around on a scooter, and like that was one eye opener. And then this Polaroid conversation, I was like, "Oh, you never saw this? Like, come here, I'll show you." And I was like, "Do you mind if I kind of like stage you? Because I love trying to like traveling and taking photos. Like that's one of my favorite, types of photography, and like trying to do it with people I meet and documenting that way. So then again, I can look back, like you said, look back, see, oh, this is who I met. Like I journal everything. I journal regularly. I write. I like I take photos just as reference, and I date them. Simple task, and like I'll do like that's a day to day regimen that I try to do too. But with this guy, like in Bali, I was like, oh wow, this guy is definitely someone like I would like to just have a photo of, because he's giving me new perspective and that kind of stuff. So I was like, boom, Polaroid comes out. He comes over to me. He's like so me. He's like, oh my God. And it like he saw how it came out. There was, and the way Polaroids work, it takes a while to develop. So it maybe takes like
Mhm.
4 to 5 minutes. And he's watching it. He's like, and he's seeing himself like in this photo, and he has never seen, I guess, like he's never seen a Polaroid develop. And then I was so happy and like amazed at like just his genuine happiness of like, wow, like this is me. Like I was like, come here, come here, come here. I brought him like this. I was like, dude, and I took a photo. Boom. Polaroid comes out. I was like, dude, what's your name? And his name is, I'll never forget his name. It's Lamoon. It's spelled Lamun. Um, and pretty much I had a selfie with him. I signed it. I'm like Lamoon and Chris, and I dated it, and I gave it to him. Dude, this guy, he just took it. He like hugged. He pretty much hugged the photo. He was like, thank you so much for like this photo. Like I will cherish it. And then he put it in his scooter. Like he put it nicely, like on the floor. You know, put it nicely under his stuff. It was like a treasure to him. It was amazing. And then and then I had just opened like a new Polaroid pack. So this is what also blew my mind. The pack of Polaroid that comes in. I was like, "Oh, do you have garbage anywhere?" He's like, "Yeah, the garbage is here." So he saw me throw away like the container of it. The dude literally took it out of the garbage, and he was like, oh my God, is it okay if I have this to remember you? I was like, wow, like this guy took my trash. He literally took my trash and he made it his treasure in front of me. And I was like, wow, like coming home, this is when I started donating more. I started giving my clothes away, which and selling them, right? So this all ties together. Like that was one part of my life that just triggered like, okay, I gotta declutter. Like I don't appreciate like I appreciate all the things I have, but I have no use for it. Like instead of having 10 shoes, I'll have two. Or like, you know what I mean? Like really dumb it down. And just I saw how his simplicity made him very happy. And like the thing that he thought was my trash was his treasure. And I'm like, we have this whole, I don't know, it's like money. People, a lot of people aim for money, and that's like it's like a trap because that's what we're trying to like trained to do throughout school. You go to school, you get a job, make a lot of money, have a good life. Like we're trained that from when we're little. So I think like traveling has kind of like rewired my brain in a way where I look at things differently. I see what people cherish, and it's not just money. I see how people cherish like certain things, and I'm still learning what people cherish. You know what I mean? Like just having conversation opens myself up to like understanding. Oh, this person is really happy because oh he made this really good grilled cheese. You know what I mean? He put the time and like his individuality and like his creativity. He like my friend is a chef, and he likes to make food. So I picked his brain a few times where I'm just like, dude, like I really see it, like your passion in this. He's like, dude, I love it. Like if I make like a really bomb grilled cheese, I will like that'll be my day is made. You know what I mean? Versus making, you know, some of my friends, unfortunate to say, they're still aiming high. Like I don't blame them, but like I feel like the conversation isn't as good, even because they're so focused on making the big bucks. And like my friend, he's a stock trader, right? I went to high school with him, good friend of mine. He's just he's very strong on like dollar. He was like we were hanging out and stock trading. He did day trading, so he would pretty much be eyeing his phone all day. He's making mad money, right? But his like focus wasn't even on hanging out. Like he brought his laptop to a dinner in a restaurant. I was like, dude, like, is that really what you need to be doing right now? And like I'm seeing like what he cherished and like seeing that was definitely like a turn off. Like, oh, this dude, he's making money. He's driving a Beamer. He's living in the city. But dude, the quality time and the conversation, like I would rather have a great conversation. And like I really cherish growth of knowledge, like not growth of my wallet. And knowledge is just conversation, dude. Like talking to people, being open mindedness. Like these are things like that I feel like people like you should know common sense wise, but it seems like people like
Right.
I think their ideas are skewed or like they're just trained a certain way. Like some of my friends, like their parents really push like you have to go to school, make a lot of money, and like some of them like are so miserable. Like they drink a lot, like they're partying, and like they're just trying to get away from it all, like the stress. I mean, it's causing a lot of stress in their life because they're pushing for something that I don't even think they realize. Like I don't know. I think their just priorities aren't aligned at this chapter in their life yet. And like like all the people I love, all the people like I I come across, and like my friends, like I try to I don't know, lead by example. But I'm glad you're giving me like a platform to kind of like express my feelings on the topic because I don't know, it is something that like, I see a lot of my friends going through. And I'm like, guys, like, why are you so like sad? Like, why do you want to drink every weekend? Like, there's more to life than that was fun in college, right? We can
Yeah.
do that in college, but like, why are you still in that phase? Like, forget like, and don't think of your life on a downhill. I think they look at it like college, boom, and then like
Yes. Yep. A
life,
lot, a lot
like
of folks, some of my friends too tend to be like, oh, what about remember that high school moment?
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, I do, and it was great, but
yeah.
like we gotta look forward
You-
to something else.
exactly, bro. Exactly.
Like from my point of view, I'm always trying to say
Yes.
like we're entering some of the best years of our lives right
Uh-huh.
now, and hopefully going forward, I hope it only just gets better from here. Like I was away most of the year living on my own. In the first half of the year, I was in Arkansas,
Oh,
for
nice.
a job, and then Pennsylvania for another few months, and then so I'm back now, and kind of just living on your own, and just trying to be simplistic, and so when I come back to familiar settings like Edison, and right now I'm in Piscataway.
Yeah.
Um, it's almost like adding another. It's a weird metaphor, but go along with it. Adding another like blanket to your bed. It's like I come back with the different with more layers to think on a certain situation. Like
Yeah.
I'll drive down Inman Avenue, and I'm like, it's not just Inman Avenue for me. It's like this is where I learned how to have heart. This is where I learned how to push myself where I'm running and I'm going out once a week, and I would run and I would say, I could see myself having the same kind of mindset, work ethic somewhere else, and it kind of was like that's kind of the same energy I try to have. It's like I want to have the same energy, but continue to grow. Those are the times where I feel most alive, is like doing something doing something new, whether it's like kind of listening to a new song, or trying a new recipe, going to,
Yeah.
like you were saying, traveling, like
Yeah.
once in a while, like going back to a new place, and just
Yes.
trying
Definitely.
something new to eat, like a new cuisine, or things like that.
Yeah.
Small things like that make me feel alive, and even new conversations, like um, they all kind of tie into each other.
Yeah.
One one good book I like is, I have it here, Tuesdays with Maury. I don't know if you ever heard of this one.
No, I haven't. Hold on, let me
Pretty
write it
good.
down.
Yeah.
Tuesdays
Um,
with what? Maury?
yeah.
Okay.
And this
Cool.
is a book like I read it so far twice. It's the only book I really read twice because it's that good.
Hmm.
It's about a young man and an old man, and the old man is passing away, and this young man who is driven by money and fame. He was actually an ESPN reporter, um, money oriented. He gets a new perspective on life after speaking to someone who's dying, and this dying man is basically like, here's what you should cherish, here's what you should really appreciate in life,
Yeah.
and it may not be that high paying job, and sometimes in my head, like one of the strongest ideas, like creating your own subculture, creating your own culture, like maybe not buying into what we're seeing, whether it's on media or TV, just being strong enough to say, I may not be able to control all that, but I do have the ability to kind of control my own circle of influence, and surround myself with you know people who have a positive energy, who like to learn, and who like to grow and push themselves. So
Mhm.
they're not always stuck in the past, or too far in the future.
Yeah. How do you think that I guess has changing like your I guess your circle in a way kind of how has it affected you so far? Like how do you feel?
Feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Like
That's awesome.
it's like I just feel like I just started to believe in myself more. I think even just being away from people for most of the year, like for me, it's like self-efficacy, where you have to be self-reliant. You have to, believe in yourself, or else, or not. And I chose to. So I started, like, part of my gratitude journal each day. I start by writing, I believe in myself. I believe in my personal destiny. Like kind of trying to find harmony and energy in the day to day. I try to like look out for small moments that kind of, reinforce that I am where I'm supposed to be. And I don't have, any concrete proof, but that's the part that makes it kind of interesting, is like just a deep belief kind of in
Yeah.
myself. And then from there, like coming back and connecting with not just old friends, but old friends and good friends, and friends that kind of always had that same attitude. Like I was just hanging out with someone from St. Helena's, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
those connections, like it's, what a blessing to even have those connections still. Like people who can still, I could say, hey, I knew this person since kindergarten
Yeah.
or like,
Yeah.
first grade and we're still pretty close. So for me, it's like I'm confident with where I'm at. I'm so open-minded. I'm not just like, it's, I'm, I'm so much better. It's not that. It's like, I feel like I'm growing and I have a good attitude. What can I
Yeah.
do now to kind of raise the standard for other folks too, if they're looking for that? Which is why,
Yeah.
I'm trying to tie this into this idea of growth minded. It's basically, expanding your own circle of influence with people who can continue to inspire you.
Oh,
Like
it's amazing, dude.
reminds me of a Kendrick Lamar song. I don't know.
Which one?
I think it's called "Cut You Off."
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's pretty like it's just like I'm just trying to surround myself with people who bring out the best in me. Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes it may be just that may mean, not doing anything for a night. You know what I mean? Like staying in and like I could, I could find myself sometimes catching myself where I'm like, oh, I gotta do this, gotta do that. Where, other times it's best just to say, let me just not kind of do anything right now.
Yeah. Do you have an outlet though? Like not doing stuff, not doing something is something like I do, and then I have also some things like I need an outlet. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah,
lifting or like dude, I'm trying to hop into rollerblading, like being
that's
active.
cool.
Yeah, rollerblading. That's like my next thing that I'm trying to do.
I'll have to find my Heelys. Give me a call.
Dude, and jump rope. I got into jump rope.
Cool.
I'm just trying to like do like active work too, like body stuff. Just trying to be fit. Trying to still be fit. Like I want to still be able to run. Just like little things. But what do you do for I guess your outlet?
Yeah, exercise is big.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I just try to switch it up throughout the week. It's like, I'll do some even something as small as some push-ups here and there, like crunches, nothing crazy. I was really getting into running this whole year, like more than I've ever had, which is great. And
Hmm.
that's a great feeling in itself too, where you're just like, I don't know, I don't know what the end result of this run will be, but during the run you kind of get like a runner's high and you're
Yeah.
like, this is fantastic. But I think I
Do you
over
run the same routes usually, or do you run like different routes?
good question. Like that's a good question because like I'll run and I'll say, okay, if I run X amount of miles, let me do a little bit more. So
Okay.
I'll run a little bit more and I think like run it like so to run more you have to take a new route or you have to it's kind of like that blanket metaphor I was talking about. Like you have to add a
Hmm.
layer to it. So I
Yeah.
feel like by adding like a layer to my run, it kind of tied into having like a growth mindset where I would have like an interesting idea, not all the time, but you'd fall asleep and I wake up and I say, "Oh, I never thought of that before." So
Hmm.
I feel like, exercise and even pushing yourself small, like an incremental step, like helps you have like new ideas. And for me, it's positive reinforcement where it's like, you know what? I think it is helpful to even incrementally push myself because I get some interesting ideas this way.
Yeah. It's like more time to think, more time for breathing. Just it is relaxing though, huh? Running.
Hmm.
Did you run track in when you were like in high school or in college, or is that just kind of something you hopped into?
Just on the side, yeah, nothing really. I did you know, just cross country one year, but that was pretty much it.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah,
something I started working on the side.
man. I'm like, what like triggered you to do this? I'm like, was there like a trigger that like, oh man, I need to
Cool.
like
I
podcast
feel like
like.
I'm on the other side of this now.
No, man, it's
It's good.
conversation. It's
It's good.
conversation.
It's
It's
good.
like I feel like a podcast. If it's just conversation, it doesn't feel too interviewy, And like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's
No,
fun, I
I'm
guess,
saying
from
that's a
my
great
perspective, because like I feel weird, honestly, just getting asked questions, because like I don't like talking about myself a lot. I kind of just, I don't know, I try to humble myself, and like I don't really, I don't really enjoy it. It's like kind of, it's a little uncomfortable, you know.
Mhm.
Why are you doing this to me, bro? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's a cool point. Like it, like
Yeah,
you're saying, a few things tie into where what brought you to selling your clothes and minimizing some of the things that you've been doing.
yeah.
I met a cool buddy at work last year, and
Hmm.
we would talk like this during lunch. It was
Oh, nice,
fantastic.
dude.
Like
Yeah,
all I just had one really close friend, and it was awesome just to kind of have these conversations similar to this, like just over lunch. Um, and then we end the year, we kind of go our separate ways. We still keep in touch, we texted, and then so over the summer, I was like, hey, what's going on? Like we call each other similar, kind of to context, like attitudes and just trying to stay positive in all this. And then he's
yeah,
like, how's your podcast going? And I'm like, because it was an idea I had when I'd be talking to him,
yeah,
and I was like, I haven't really been working on it too much. And
yeah,
then he's like, keep doing it, man. Like, um, you know, sky's the limit. Like, who knows what can happen? And worst case scenario, you surround yourself with people with good energy. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you're right. So a little bit, incrementally, a little bit over time, started putting effort into this, and kind of just became another habit. So on Tuesdays, I tend to just work on this growth-minded channel and
nice.
kind of grow it and think about the strategies that I want to develop over time. And that
Yep.
logo that I sent to you on that
Hmm.
that was from him. Like that was from my
Oh, nice.
buddy. So he's been kind of like a catalyst for me to kind of continue to
Yeah,
push
man.
me along.
Definitely. I feel like if you, I guess I'll open my arms to that as well. Like if you ever want to, like, I don't know, just talk, bro. Like I look at, like, before I looked at you like when I was just friends with your brother, just as Ryan's brother, right? Now I look at people like that, like that I've known back in the day who were younger than me, and I'm just like, or just people like I wasn't, I was only associated by because your brother's your brother's my friend, right? So now it's cool to see, like, I don't really talk to your brother, but I'm probably gonna be talking to you like a hell of a lot more because like, but I find it a blessing in disguise because like now we're friends, you know what I mean? We're all at this point in our life where it's all relatable and it's like all, I don't know, it's cool to like, it's cool to call you like my friend, seriously,
Yeah,
you know. And I feel like that's something I took for granted, and I feel like now is a good time, like this is where our stars align, where it's just like, okay, we have this mindset, and like you're one of very few people who I know have like this kind of open-mindedness approach to life. Like I'm trying to get my friends like on that wave. Some of them are reciprocating, others aren't as well, but it's cool like to see a familiar face, and it's just the journey, dude. Like I feel like whatever we're aiming for, like it's gonna be a really nice, like cherry on top finish. You know what I mean? Like because I know, like, even when I die, like I know the people like I'm like trying to like talk to and like the people I interact with. It's just like I know I approach every conversation with the right mindset. I'm glad we like realized this kind of stuff early. You know what I mean? I feel like because working at my dad's company too, like I deal with people who are in their 60s, in their 70s, and some of them, bro, they're still stuck in like these like, I don't know. I don't think they experienced a lot. And like you touched on doing new things, right? The, I try to like instill this on like my brother and my sister and like my cousins and like my those younger than me. It's not something that I learned is like you should dabble in the unknown. You should do new things. You should push your push your um, push yourself where you feel uncomfortable, but you know how to overcome an uncomfortable situation. Because like once you do that, you'll gain more confidence, and like confidence is key to like, I don't know, it's like half the battle to life. I think like having the confidence to like jump out of plane, like, or do like certain things that you might not do because I don't know, having an open mind definitely gives you like a sense of confidence, and just doing it in like an honest way too. I feel like that is like one of the key things. Like, yeah.
That's great. Like,
Yeah, bro.
like even being at my uncle's right now, I feel like it's like I'm cherishing this time. Um,
Yeah.
like I'm in this work program where they're gonna rotate me somewhere else, probably over the summer or something, potentially. We'll see how it
Okay.
goes. So like between now and then, it's like I'm definitely appreciating this time with someone who gets it. Like I feel like he gets it, and I'm always like it helps when I'm open with him because he'll like pass along good ideas my way too.
Hmm.
Like and that's why it'd be interesting to have, we're I could we can consider each other friends and peers, and now imagine having, friends and peers with years of experience, 20, 30 years of experience, who can say,
Hmm.
here's what I wish I knew when I was, in my 20s. Here's what I wish I knew when I was, just coming out of high school or
Yeah.
just looking for my first job. What are some of the ways, and it kind of like for me it's like kind of like a circle of growth. Like, are you looking for something professionally? Like honestly, like how do you professionally want to develop yourself? Mentally, like what are some strategies you can use for your, bettering your attitude? I was I've been trying to find someone even for like healthy eating. Like,
Oh,
here's some
okay.
recipes that you can look into to kind of keep your body going, um,
Yeah.
compared to, eating 4 slices of pizza over the last few days. Um, so just stuff like that. And it kind of just like I like being kind of like well-round. I like not knowing it all. I like coming into a situation
Yes.
saying, I'm not the smartest one in the room, and kind of just growing another area of life.
Yeah.
That's
But you're
that's
willing
what I
to
like.
learn. Exactly.
Mhm.
The openness to learning, bro. I'm telling you.